Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this edition of Soul of Business. I am your host, Erica Edwards, and today I have with me Senior Gumboy, aka Marvin Morgan. Thank you for joining us today, Marvin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good night. And yeah.
Thank you. So for anybody out there and you're new to Soul of Business here on Business Takeout, this is the show where the doers come to teach. They're paying it forward in knowledge. We have successful entrepreneurs that have kind of run the gamut and they've come here to pay it forward with knowledge. So you'll get some tips and tricks. Some are specific to industry, some are just in general. And then, of course, the soul part of business is the things that matter to us personally. So I invite you guys to participate, comment below, ask your questions, and a little bit later on the show, we'll pull them up and we will address them. So welcome to this edition. So let's start at the beginning. When I got the information that Senior Gumboy was going to be on, I did what I do, which is snoop around people's social media. So, of course, I'm going through his posts, hoping that I can, kind of get a feel of what he's about. And all I did was laugh, okay? I kept clicking on the links. I kept clicking on his little skits, and I got completely distracted. I was sharing them out, tagging friends. I love your humor. It is so connective. And I thank you for bringing so much joy to me in the last week by discovering you and following you. So thank you for that. So Marvin, let's start at the beginning. Tell the audience who you are and what it is that you do.
Well, thank you for all those kind words. So my name is Marvin Morgan, aka Senior Gumboy. I am I guess the term now is social media influencer. I'm also a photographer. I was doing the photography before, the influencing, which I think kind of gave me a certain eye for things and crafting videos and just putting things together and getting like a creative vision out of my mind onto like an actual platform. I was born in Jamaica and now living here in Canada. I came here when I was pretty young, and I guess, a question I always ask is like, why the name Senior Gumboy? And it was a name that my grandfather gave me, just start to call me. And it just kind of, when it was time to pick a YouTube name, and it was the first thing that popped into mind, because it kind of just reminded me of, where I'm from, family, and just kind of staying true to who I am and my heritage. So that's kind of why the Senior Gumboy thing came about. So.
So was it one of those little sidetrack here for those who are not familiar with the Caribbean culture? We kind of get nicknames that are irrelevant and they don't really have anything to do with us, and they come out of nowhere. And sometimes the nicknames aren't nicknames; they're like other real names that. You're born Michael and they call you Trevor, and nobody knows why, where it came from. So was Senior Gumboy something like that? Your grandpa just started calling you that?
For the longest time, I never really knew. And then I asked my mom this past summer, I went to Jamaica, and she's like, oh, I think he was like some like foreign war dictator or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's not as fun anymore, but that is so true. In the Caribbean, it's either your name comes from something that's like wrong with you, so like hey, look on lazy eye there, right? Or it's just something random that doesn't make sense at all. So we're pretty straight to a little too straightforward sometimes, but
a little too straightforward. I did know a guy named Dryfoot, so we know we know how that came about. So a social media influencer is what you said, and you started out in photography. So you wouldn't consider yourself a comedian?
I feel like a comedian to me personally is someone who does stand up. For me, I feel that that's the benchmark to call yourself a comedian, right? In its essence. Because doing the skits is one thing, but I think to really, be tested on your funny is when you do stand up. I've done stand up before. I didn't get booed, so that was my goal when I did it. I didn't get booed. I got laughs, but it's something that because I'm a person, I like to really like dedicate myself to things, and I really like get lost in things. So if I'm not going to do this, with 110% of my time and continue it, I don't really like to start it. So that's why for me, the online comedy and the skits have been kind of my way to express, and I will do the stand up more just when the time is right for me.
When the world opens up.
Ooh, so whenever that is.
Whenever that is, whatever that may be. So let's back up. How long have you, because social media influencer, now, for those out there who are learning and trying to figure things out, that's kind of like the coveted dream job of everybody in the 2000 whatevers, like to be a social media influencer. And it sounds really cool, and people give you free things. Like I saw, your sponsorship with Appleton Estate. I love to walk through the estate, so congratulations. And these are the things that people look at. They think, okay, social media influencer, people are going to send me free things on the internet, and I'm going to try them on or use them, and I'll make videos all day and everything will be fine. What's the reality?
Well, the reality is, there's those kind of upsides to it of you get to meet new people, you get to travel a bit, depending on what you're into, you'll get some gifted stuff and all of that. And you could get some, pretty good sponsorships and deals like that. But I guess the downsides of it is, you are in the public eye a lot of the times, right? So you have to realize that, your personal life or things may be a little bit more scrutinized. You kind of have to know that, and self-motivation, I feel is another big thing. You have to stay motivated, and you can't really rely on other people to motivate you. And you have to kind of look at it as if you are an entrepreneur. So, if this is all you do as a social media influencer, then, you're not going to get the pension, you're not going to get the dental plan, you're not going to get all these things that may come along with a regular 9-to-5 job or a career in other areas. So you kind of have to keep that in mind. You have to, be on your books and all these things, right? So these are, I feel like, the things that people don't necessarily think about when they just think about like, oh, I get free stuff and I can, get into the club for free and all that stuff, right? So,
for free. Least of your problems. You went a little Caribbean on us there. You said be in your books. You want to expand on that?
I guess I for, because, no matter where you are, the Uncle Sam or Uncle Trudeau will always want his taxes and whatnot, right? So if you're running your thing as a business, then you have to kind of keep track of those things, right? So your receipts and filing your taxes and getting a business number and all these things, right? So those are things that I think people don't necessarily take into consideration, and just think like, oh, I'm just doing stuff on the internet and then everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, no pension, no dental plan. A lot of the perks that you get with a regular job are not there. So you really do have to be on your money and about your money, because when you get that tooth pain, you pay it, right? So you've got to be about that. How long have you been doing this, Marvin?
Well, I would say 2013 is when I really start to kind of like take it seriously. But if you like trace it back, like the very first skit I put out on YouTube, I think was like 2010. And so, and then I put out another skit maybe like 2011. Okay. And then I think 2012 I put out another one.
One a year?
Basically, I was a 1 a year type of guy. It really, honestly, it was just for fun. Like it was at the time, I guess, YouTube was kind of becoming more popular. And I saw a video, I was like, oh, that's funny. And I've always been, I guess, a pretty imaginative type of guy, especially with the photography, right? And then I said, oh, I can make a funny video. And then, after about, I think, 2012, going into 2013, I saw an article where it kind of explained how you can make money from YouTube and all these things. Like, oh, wow, you can make money and from something that I just kind of naturally enjoy doing. So I just kind of challenge myself to try to put out one skit a week, and that was about 2013. And it wasn't always once a week, but I tried to be consistent. and that is definitely one of the biggest pillars or keys to being in this kind of industry, right? Is consistency, and in any industry, right? Just life in general, consistency is key, right? And so 2013, I just started to be consistent, and then when Instagram came along, I transitioned to the Instagram format of things, and just been doing it since.
So there you guys have it. For those of you at home, I'm taking notes like a good student, but for those of you at home, the first gem dropped, which is a consistent gem, is what? Consistency.
Consistency.
On social media, you have to be consistent. Sometimeshness will not work here. People will not follow you. If they like you and they want to fix you, you got to show up. You got to be there. So number one is definitely, actually, I think number one is, he said, is accountancy. Be in your books, have your stuff together, and make sure that when the government comes knocking, be it the CRA or the IRS or whatever initials they give you, you can hand them their paperwork, because if this is now your job, you have to treat it as such. So over 10 years ago, you started this, one a year for about 3 years. It was really just something you did for fun, weren't thinking of it. And then you saw you can monetize it. And you were like, wait a minute. Okay, I can make money. And that's when you started being more consistent, aiming for one a week. You challenged yourself. So as somebody self-employed, you have to set up your own kind of like challenges and goals. So you gave yourself a goal for one a week, and off you went. And then you transitioned from YouTube to Instagram. Now, when you started this, like you said, you did it for fun, and then you realized you could make money. So wasn't in 2013 when you transitioned over to IG that you felt like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be an influencer. Was that ever your actual thought, or?
No, it was still always kind of just like a side hustle kind of mentality. And even, I would even say that because really and truly, I just do it because I enjoy doing it. Like it's a way for me to, I guess, get as an artist, to get my creative expression out there. And I feel like even if I wasn't making money, I would still do it because I find it fun, right? And I feel that's one of the best things to do when you can turn your passion into profit, right? As I like to say. So yeah, I mean, when Instagram came along, it was just another way for me to express. And then now I kind of dialed in and saw, okay, now how I've been doing this for a few years now. How can I now turn that passion into profit? Basically, is just kind of when the switch kind of flipped a little bit.
Okay, so was there ever a time where that was your aspiration and your goal was to be like number one?
I feel like about 2018 is when it really said, you know what, this is what I want to do. So it was actually a little bit later, so it was about 2018 when I said, you know what, I enjoy this. I've been consistent with it. I'm seeing results. Let's do this. Let's try and make this, the thing that I do.
The thing that you do.
Yeah, and that was 2018. So it's definitely been a journey of discovery, I guess, for myself. And 2018 was that year when I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be an influencer.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. What was the day when you were like, I'm gonna be an influencer, and this is what I'm gonna do? And so this was like actually a very organic experience for you, where you just started out doing something you liked, and then one day you saw you could make some money, and you're probably thinking it was a little bit of money, and sure, why not? And then you said something just now that I think a lot of people will want you to expand on, which is you started to see results. What does seeing results on social media look like? What does that mean?
Well, I guess numbers, as they say, numbers don't lie. So, right now I have about 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. I've maybe about 30 million views, just accumulatively for my videos, about 50,000 plus followers on Instagram. And numbers are just kind of like I guess sometimes people told me I'm a little, I don't like to sound like I'm bragging and stuff like that, right? Because I'm not that guy. But it just really shows you that what you're doing is actually connecting and resonating with people. So yeah, the numbers will show you that you are doing something here, and also like the connections you make with people, and for me that's when I go places and just a random person just be like, oh hey, you're that guy, right? Hey, you're the funny guy, eh? You're that comedy guy, eh? So yeah, it just really shows me that people watch and they take it in and they remember, right? Because I feel a lot of times we're really bombarded with things, especially on the internet, right? So for you to like really remember someone and be like and recognize them, like, oh yeah, you really take it in and internalize it. So for me, like more so, those are the connections that I like to see more so than the numbers. Where when real people are saying, I appreciate what you do. I was sad and I watched your video and it made me feel better. It made me smile. Like those are the things that really
that touch you. But the things that get you paid are those numbers of subscribers and views and so forth. But what connects with your heart is when people tell you how they connect. So I guess it's the commentary underneath and so forth that really let you know how you're connecting. So what was your big first benchmark? Like what was the first number that you saw that you were like, I think I'm here? Like what was it?
It was a video I did, and it reached 1 million views, and on YouTube, and that was a few years ago, and it was a video, how men something to do with sex, whatever, and yeah, once I saw like it hit 1 million views, I was like, whoa, that's a lot, like it's a big number, right? And I was proud of it, yeah, it really made me feel good, like someone accomplished in some way, some aspect.
So that was your big first milestone.
That was a big first. I was like, wow. Like, you pop your collar, be like, you're doing something out here.
Here, you got to pat yourself on the back. I mean, I can see from speaking to you, you're a humble man. You really not trying to be braggadocious, but credit where it's due, right? And 1 million views is nothing to dismiss, and that is a wonderful benchmark. I'm about to talk about the bags on your head in a minute, but before we go there, because you had me dying like, all day long. The joke is I use them too, right? Those are my shower caps.
Yeah.
Those are my steam caps. So we'll talk about that in a second. But the other thing, like, you're here and you're sharing, and really there's a lot of young people out there and older people that want to be influencers. And I think a lot of them aren't aware of the reality of it, how much of a full-time job it is. It's not something you just kind of like do, setting up videos, good quality videos, good lighting, all of these things. They take a lot of effort behind the scenes, and then it takes real talent in front of the camera to make it seem effortless. So I really give you that, because like I said, you've had me cracking up like for days now. But one of the things that I always like to ask is, if you could go back and you could talk to 2013 Marvin, like if you could back up and check Marvin in 2013, what would you tell him? What would you give him the heads up on?
I would probably say, what did I tell myself? Just to know your brand a little bit more. Because I feel like that's like in the recent years, that's when I really figured out like what am I about? What audience are you trying to cater to? Like what's maybe you need to now start that 5-year plan or whatever or whatnot, right? And really tell myself to dissect what you do and how you can make a living from it. So I would have put myself onto game a little bit earlier, I guess you can say.
Okay, so you would have had that game plan, more that business plan than just, I'm having a good time, let's see what happens, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, so now that, we're in 2020 now, this year is kind of sort of doesn't totally count, I guess, because it's really weird. But here we are. And again, social media is going nowhere. You know, I had a discussion earlier today and somebody's like, oh, it's only social media. I'm like, there are more people on YouTube than there are watching NBC. So it's no longer just social media. This is it. It's going nowhere. This is it. So a young person comes up to you, you know, in their teens, early 20s, and they say to you, okay, Senior Gumboy, I'm out there watching you. What do I do? Like, how do I set myself up to become an influencer? How would they do that?
The first step I would say is just kind of know what you're talking about, what you are going to talk about, what your category of influence is going to be. Are you into, and make it something that you're actually into and something that you like, right? Don't be talking about fitness if you don't work out at all. Like, it just doesn't make sense, right? Like, so that's where I would say you should start. From there, you know, get a camera. It doesn't have to be an expensive camera. Use your phone and just get comfortable speaking in front of the camera and speaking authentically. Because I feel like a lot of times people will, because, you know, we all watch certain people and we like certain things, and then we'll try to mimic what they do or how they talk, and it's never going to work because it's not authentic to you. So you just have to find your voice. And then from there, you know, find out about editing, like how you want your style of videos to look, or whatever niche you know, you get into. You know, just actually write things down, make a plan of it. Don't just kind of do it on a whim. Actually write things down. So you know, all right, this is where I'm at. This is where I'm going. Okay, I started here and I'm you know, maneuvering in different ways. And then from there, just start making the content. You know, the more you make, the better, because no one starts up here, right? We all got to start here and then gradually progress. And don't beat yourself up about it, right? Because I feel a lot of times, you know, we'll get frustrated and we may not see the numbers that we think we should have or like or whatnot, and it really doesn't work like that. Like, you have to, especially being an influencer, because, you know, essentially that is influence. You are influencing other people's decisions, and that takes trust. So, you know, you don't just meet someone and trust them automatically. They have to gain your trust, right? So, and essentially the same thing. So all these like basic concepts of life, it doesn't really change when you kind of go online, right? Your audience has to trust you, and you have to build that trust with the consistency of the videos or content you put out. So, you know, that's kind of what I would say.
Wow. I mean, like, I gotta clap. That was amazing. Thank you for that. No, seriously, like, I love the fact that you're so realistic. You're not discouraging at all. You're actually very encouraging, but this is the real deal. And the fact that you keep going back to authenticity and doing something you really like and something you truly enjoy. Don't just go with the top 10 list. Okay, these are the things that are hot now, and you pick one and you try to go with that, because I'm sure that one of the reasons I connected so well with your videos is because it's authentic, you know, and you're getting that real feeling of watching somebody have a conversation, or being, you know, that fly on the wall in the room when the girl asks for her phone. Like, it's, you know, those are the things that
I see that was your favorite.
Yeah, that was hilarious. There, a lot of them were hilarious. I cannot tell you my favorite. And before we get into the personal part, the bag's on the head. So for anybody who has not gone to Senior Gumboy on Instagram, you need to go right after this show. If you need a good laugh, like, try to measure it out. Don't watch all the videos at once. You want something for tomorrow. But in his videos, he does a lot of skits, and there's role playing because he takes on different personas. And the persona of the woman, I saw somebody volunteer to give you a wig. I saw, like, I'll donate a wig to this cause. And
that was that. I
don't need no wig. And she's like, ain't nobody asked you. It was even the comments on his stuff, they're funny, okay? But in the video, when he does play the part of a woman, there's a variety of bags that he uses, from Dollarama, and I think I saw No Frills.
No, you got to have the No Frills in there.
No Frills.
It's a Canadian staple, right?
The thing is, you have to see the man put it on his head. He's styling. Like, you can't. You can't tell him that it's not a style at that point. Like,
Yeah, I have to get a drop on this, you know what I
and
mean?
it drops on the side, right?
Yeah, of course. Of course. It has to be fabulous, you know?
You have to check out his videos. Honestly, true good entertainment. And for those of you who are looking at social media as a income, as maybe even a job, you get to see obviously the consistency of his posts, but that authenticity, how he connects with the audience. And then obviously being from Jamaica, being Caribbean, and I see that you poke at Grenadians a lot.
Yeah, like all of the Caribbean, right? Because I feel like in the Caribbean we have all these like little, tiffs and arguments of like, reggae or soca, like all these little things. But at the end of the day, we all have the same, I feel, kind of energy within us. We're a lot similar than we are apart. So for me, I've always kind of wanted us to kind of embrace each other more and put these little petty qualms aside and come together and show the influence that we have on the world, right? And we're not just some little islands that no one really knows. Like we have contributed a lot, right? Our culture, a lot of people look at it, try and mimic it, and if we're not careful, we'll profit off of it and just leave us, in the sidelines. So
I really like that last part about profiting off of our culture, where so many of us, especially being first generation Canadians, second generation Canadians, trying to leave that aside while other people are running back and celebrating it. So it is, as a Caribbean, it's also wonderful for me. I get the jokes. They're really sweet. The differences, knowing people from different islands being like, yeah, that's that one. So I really enjoy that. And I thank you for that. So before we do our summary and we wrap up, I always, there's the soul part of business, and you, Marvin, seem to be a man of much soul, much passion. You talk about authenticity and loving what you do. And one of the common threads with all the business owners that I have spoken to is that there's something else in their private life that moves them, that matters to them. And I was just wondering, for you, what is that thing?
The thing that moves me, that motivates me, I think it's love. I think honestly it's just love, and just I guess just I feel like love conquers all. And as we can see with 2020, it's definitely been a trying year. It's been a rough year for a lot of people, and love really kind of just like gets us by. So for me, I guess it's just kind of my way to kind of try and just spread a little love, a little happiness in a world that is often very, tough, unforgiving, lonely sometimes, so that's just what I feel is just love.
Well, yeah. I love
cheesy
that.
or corny as it may sound, but No,
it didn't sound corny at all. I appreciate that answer. And the laughter you provide is a form of love. I really do believe that. And again, having a bad day, I'm sure that just visiting your page will make it better. And, there is a bit of an elephant in the room. And I know that it's not your space or place to, but I would like your feedback on a current issue I would want to almost say your industry, because it is online influencers, comedic, especially Caribbean comedy. And there's, and the funny thing is I opened the internet and I didn't know what was going on. I had to do a bit of research, but a very popular comic, social influencer, Major Hype, is facing some major bacchanal right now. There's some things going on, and seeing how it's being handled in terms of responses and, answering back on social media. Just wondering if you have an opinion, if you have anything you would be willing to share on that. Like, what are your thoughts on what's going on and what's unfolding right now?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of layers to it. I'm a person who I don't like drama, like, so, especially when there's big people problems. I always say, you should probably keep your personal problems to yourself, but it seems like things have gone past that, right? And uh, it's really unfortunate. I feel bad for the women in this situation, and I feel like it's really going to test, especially us Caribbean people, of where our values lie, and how we respond to things like this, and talks of domestic violence and stuff like that, right? Because it's something that I feel like it's really not really spoken about in the Caribbean community, and we kind of like let things slide and shove it under the rug, like with a lot of issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, the responses I've seen is probably not the best responses, but that's other people's business. I don't like to stick my nose in other people's business, but I just want us all to kind of really reflect on what we place in of value, and how we can be better as individuals, right? And one thing I don't really like to see are people like sharing certain videos, right? And I just kind of have to ask people, like, why are you sharing that, right? Like, what are you hoping to gain? Like, this is not like, I know this is social media, but this is someone's life. It's not funny, right? So I just want us to really all challenge ourselves to kind of not really look at their situation or whatever that's going on with them, but just kind of look at yourself and like, what are you taking out of the situation? What's of value to you? Because we all have mothers, sisters, daughters, like, so on. So yeah, that's just kind of my take on the situation, without getting in people's business.
Well, I think that was really, really well said, Marvin, that I think this is an opportunity for us to think about our thinking. Really big on that when, we have thoughts and we look at things certain ways. And I think people need to pause and just kind of analyze sometimes why that's their first response, or why you feel that way about the situation. Because like you said, it's not necessarily our situation to dissect, but we can look at our responses and our behavior that is triggered by that situation, and help us become better people through somebody else's situation. So I really thank you for that. And I think that was very thoughtful. So this is the test part, Marvin, where I was a student along with the audience, and you came and you taught some stuff. So I'm going to kind of go up through your points. You tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if I missed anything. But this is what I took away from this today. So
all right.
The number one thing that you should really be about is if you're going to social media, if you want to become an influencer, make sure you're on top of your books. As you said, be in your books, but that means you're accounting. Make sure that you are doing it responsibly so you can report to your government, wherever that may be. Consistency. If you want to be on social media, if you want to be successful, you have to be consistent. You've got to put...
I would put that at number one.
Number one, even if you don't get the books and you go on the run from the IRS, make sure.
make sure you're consistently putting out your content while you're hiding in Mexico or something.
I was just about to say,
or hiding in Cuba.
Make the video so you'll get more money that you could keep running, but be consistent. Be about your books. Then in terms of steps to be in social media, find out your category, know your passion, find your voice, and be in your lane. Another guest has said the riches are in the niches. I believe that. So find your voice. Then you want to be authentic because it's your voice. You cannot mimic someone else better than they can do themselves, but you can be the very, very best you. Make a plan. Even though you're a comedic genius, even though you're the most beautiful girl in the world, even though your pole dancing is top notch, write down a plan, have an idea, an outline of what you're going to present and how you're going to present it.
Exactly, that vision board.
Vision board, exactly. The 5-year plan. As he said, if he could go back, talk to himself in 2013, it'd be like, make a plan, like have a whole idea of what it is that you want to do. And something else that you said that, the camera. Get a camera, work on your editing. The editing of videos is honestly what makes them very watchable and very cool. So you want to edit because trust me, all the stuff they cut away, you'd be shocked to see what it looks like in its raw form. So you want to learn how to edit. And there's something you said, and I thought it was so amazing, and really people need to think about this, is authenticity builds trust.
Yes.
Your brand will not grow and you won't get sponsorship unless the people are in your comments and they're trusting you, to the point where when he says, yo, drink some Appleton, they're like, okay, like they trust you. And don't beat yourself up. Yeah. Rome was not built in a day. Progress is gradual. It will happen. You'll make a video and you'll be like, this is it. This is my 1 million hit video, and it won't be. And then you'll make another one and you're like, I'll put it up. And you're like, what? You guys like that one? You'll learn your audience.
It's happened to me a lot of times.
Right? Yeah. It's happened to me too. I have a show. I'm like, that was fire. Nothing. Another one. I'm like, okay, I loved it. So be consistent. Keep putting it out there. And you will find what your audience resonates with, but don't beat yourself up on the journey. Marvin's been doing this for 10 years, and he only got really serious, I'm gonna do this 2 years ago. So it is a progress. And for those of you that no, Erica, no, Marvin, I'm coming out the gate and I'm ready. Get your camera, be consistent, know your books, find your audience, speak your truth, be real, and watch your numbers. Actually, watch your numbers. Look for actual results. And on social media, results are numbers, but even more importantly, it's the connections that you make. So when you stand in the grocery store, whether or not the no frills bag is on your head or not, people are going to come up to you and say, hey, thanks for making my day. And that's what motivates Marvin to get back up the next day and make more videos for our entertainment and enjoyment. Did I get it right?
Oh, that is an A+ right there. A++. Yeah.
So good for me. I did good today, guys. I did good. And so for those of you who would like to watch some more Senior Gumboy and to get into contact with him, how will we do that?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at Senior Gumboy, YouTube at Senior Gumboy. I was consistent. Hey, see that word there? With my socials. So yeah, you can check out the videos. Send me a message if you have any questions. I'm always down to answer questions as well, right? I feel like why have knowledge if you're not gonna share it with people, right? That's how you can find me. Check me out. I also do a little YouTube live thing where we just kind of talk and discuss and listen to music on Sundays. So. Just have fun with people. So
okay, so you're on YouTube Live every Sunday?
Yeah, YouTube Live every Sunday. I call it Shoot Your Shot Sundays.
Okay.
So we have a little sound clash vibe and just talk and have fun.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's about 6:30. So this week we're gonna have a New Jack Swing continuation clash that was from last week. So.
Okay, so I'm going to be attending this sound clash and getting
you better have your music ready. You better
listen. Anyways, don't even test DJ Erica. You don't know.
All right.
So it was such a pleasure, which I knew it would be. I caught the vibe from before I even got to speak to you. I am so grateful for your time today, Marvin. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for doing what you do and putting yourself out there. I know it is not easy to present your art. It's like putting your heart on a table and saying to people, look at it. So we appreciate you and we thank you. Check him out, Senior Gumboy, YouTube, Instagram, and definitely share out this show. It was absolutely great information for those of you who are looking to go into social media as a business, as a source of income or the income. Follow these steps and you'll be much, much further, and you won't have to have these conversations with yourself later on. Thank you so much. I will see you soon, and I will be in the Sound Clash on Sunday.
All right.
All right. So this is Erica Edwards for The Soul of Business here on Business Takeout. Thank you for joining us. And if you are an entrepreneur that has run the race and would like to share and save some people some steps, please contact me. We would love to have you on. Have a good night, everyone.